And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the first race of the third season of the NNSCRA Last of Us Lite series here live on Twitch TV. We kicked the season off here on the back straightaway of Daytona International Speedway at the Daytona Short Track, kicking off the season at the Battle of the Beach. 70 laps of racing here this evening, 27 drivers on grid to start off this third season of the series. Been a while since this series even was run. I believe the Last of Us Lite series event back in Season 2 was run all the way back in 2017. So great to be able to revive this series. And if anybody would like to be able to join this series, there are still rides available. It may get a little congested when we get to a number of the short tracks that we have here on the schedule, as I believe only 28 cars were able to fit here onto this short track. And we just barely made it under that number with 27 in the field here tonight. So, it'll be a little bit congested with drivers trying to fight for spots if we get to the short tracks and we exceed a certain number of what a track can hold, but there are still rides available, and you can check it out either over on the NNSCRA YouTube page. The sign-up video is still there. I believe the sign-up video is still over here as well as a past broadcast on Twitch. On the pole position for this one is going to be the number 41 of Eric Monaco. He'll start alongside of Nathan Ormond. That is your front row, as at most short tracks, track position is going to be very important. We'll see if that's the case here tonight. And of course, as well, we've run this track, I believe, in the past two Last of Us Lite series seasons. The first one, as I recall, was a Wreckfest. I can't off the top of my head remember what the second season was like. We'll see if these drivers are able to mind their P's and Q's for 70 circuits. Making up row 2 is going to be the 27 of Cody Smart alongside of the 75. And the name, for some reason, is not coming to me. There it is, Daniel Bouchard. And rolling off from row 3, you've got Matt McIntyre to the outside of the 9 of Stephen Colon. Row 4, Carson Gum to the outside of Matthew Rodriguez. And then in row 5, completing the top 10, it's the 04 of Jacob Thibodeau, and he'll be alongside the 16 of Josh King. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports as we're getting ready to go racing here tonight at Daytona.
Drivers, start your engines!
Not going to take long for the pace car to turn these drivers loose, as they are already parked on what's considered the backstretch of the short track. They're also parked in the back straightaway of the 2.5-mile super speedway known as Daytona as well. Pace car has already made the left-hand turn, or actually a right-hand turn in this case, onto pit lane. And Eric Monaco, Nathan Ormond get ready to get the third season of the Last of Us Lite series underway. Green flags in the air, let's roll! Looks like we're having a little problem here with our ticker. Hopefully that will sort itself out, as Eric Monaco is going to take the early lead. Second place to Nathan Ormond. Third will be Cody Smart. They're battling side by side for fourth. Stephen Colon will make the pass on Daniel Bouchard. Matthew Rodriguez trying to get by Matt McIntyre. That'd be a battle for sixth, as Bouchard ran that corner awfully wide. And we're side by side for third. Stephen Colon has picked up a spot already since the drop of the green flag, looking for another, trying to crack up into the top 3 as off turn 2. Tries to clear Cody Smart, hasn't quite been able to successfully complete the pass. He does now off of 4. And now Daniel Bouchard looking to capitalize, and boy, that 9 car drives it deep into turn 1. He's going to get Nathan Ormond for second. So that 9 is on a flyer right now. After starting outside of the top 4, he started 5th, and he's already in 4 laps up to that second spot. Now, overdrove that corner a little bit. It slipped up, did Stephen Colon. That opens the door for Nathan Ormond to look for second place. It's going on about a car length and a half behind race leader Eric Monaco, who has not been able to get away. He's enjoying the clean air and the clean racetrack, but he has not gotten out of the woods yet, as Daniel Bouchard, oh my goodness, nearly spun Nathan Ormond, and we're going 3 wide here at the Daytona short track. This is not smart, guys. Bouchard backs out of it as he dive bombed that corner there to get by Cody Smart. Matthew Rodriguez going to do the same, so move Bouchard up to 4th. Matthew Rodriguez up to 5th, and now he's going for 2 for the price of 1. He gets by Bouchard. He tries to get by Stephen Colon. Boy, these guys are attacking turn 1 especially a little more aggressively than I would like to. It's certainly putting me on pins and needles, as apparently our ticker problems have not fixed themselves. Going to try a quick refresh here. Oh, it says it's working, so I don't know what the problem is here. Try and fix these technical difficulties as Matthew Rodriguez is now going to move up to 2nd, trying to get by Nathan Ormond. Daniel Bouchard right there as well, trying to make this a 3-man fight. Let me double check here on the ticker just to see what the issue might be. It's going to freeze for a brief moment. It will come back. According to this, it should be running, and I don't know why it isn't. Yep, still not working. And everything was set up correctly. I don't know what's going on. Well, we're unfortunately going to have to deal without the ticker here in this. I'll have to wait until next week to figure out what the problem was. I apologize for that. I don't know if there's much sense of bringing up the ticker that's in the game or not. If you want me to bring up the ticker that's in the game, I will do so. I was hoping to have the running ticker up there on the top of the screen, and apparently that's not the case. We have run 11 laps, going on to 12 laps here under green, which really surprises me. A couple of drivers have now popped up into the top 10. Alex Tanker in the 45 is now in 6th. Jacob Thibodeau back in 7th. Stephen Colon, who made that early charge, has now drifted all the way back to 8th place, with Brad Cheston in 9th. And right now completing your top 10 is Mitchell Collins in the 22, trying to hold off the 16 of Josh King. And you kind of are also wondering here, oh, there's some damage I just noticed on the left side of Alex Tanker's 45. Not sure what happened there, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting him that much. Just a donut on the driver's side door. As the closest battle right now is for 2nd place. Matthew Rodriguez and Nathan Ormond, a couple of Toyotas, battling it out for that spot. As Eric Monaco shows the way. Camry's 1, 2, 3 right now. And I was going to say, with this being a short track, I almost wondered how long it was going to take before Eric Monaco was going to have to deal with drivers on the tail end of the field. And there you see the answer. There's the 96 of Buck Hover, the 21 of Greg Ruiz, 7 back here of Williams, Lisa Gonzalez in the 88, and just ahead of them, Nikolai Sykes in the 99. All these drivers, they're right now in a sense of desperation, because not only has Eric Monaco been able to kind of gap himself from that 2nd place battle between Matthew Rodriguez and Nathan Orm, but he's also reeling in those guys, trying to put them a lap down. But you wonder if the gap right now between himself, the 13 and the 1, if that might close up when he encounters that traffic. We haven't yet seen how Monaco's car works in traffic, as he has spent these last 17.5 laps out in front. And he's about maybe a lap and a half before he catches that 96 of Buck Hover. And I doubt any of these drivers are going to move over for the 41 car. They're going to want to fight to keep themselves on the lead lap. Drop back, see if any other battling's going on inside of the top 10. Then we'll come back and check in. There's Lamal Cook right now just outside the top 10 in the 12th position. Matt McIntyre, who started inside the top 10, and Carsingham have fallen back to 13th and 14th in the 5 and the 19. And Monaco is on the back bumper of Buck Hover right now. Last car running on the lead lap, currently in 27th place. Of course, with this being a 15 race season, it's 10 regular season races, win and you're in system. The rest of the drivers would point their way in, as I would be surprised if we have 10 different winners in 10 races, but it could happen. These drivers also have to make sure that if they win, they remain in the top 20 in the point standings, and we will check the points every single week at the conclusion of each race. And just as I suspected, that gap is shrinking between Monaco and Matthew Rodriguez. There you can now see the front end of that Reynolds wrap number 13 in the same shot as the 41, and he's bringing some company with him. Nathan Ormond and Daniel Bouchard have now closed in. They're all on the same straightaway. Now, we've seen before how Matthew Rodriguez throws his car into the corner. I don't know if necessarily being 24 laps into this thing, if he would have the grip to do it now. We're under nighttime conditions, so there is more grip than if they were racing this during the day. So we'll see how aggressive he's going to be here, as he is now within a car length of Eric Monaco, looking for the race lead. And Monaco, his lap times haven't been bad. They've just been slower because he's been stuck behind the tail end of the field. See him close up to the back bumper of Hover, trying to see if he can make his way around, but so far, no dice. Matthew Rodriguez now about half a car length back. Nathan Ormond there, Daniel Bouchard, and if these drivers keep getting held up here, then we're going to have more drivers get up into the conversation here. 5th place, Cody Smart. 6th place, Alex Tanker. And Jacob Thibodeau there in 7th, who also has got some left side damage. And I have to assume that that would have to probably be from drivers driving it deep into the corner, sliding up into them, trying to make a pass. We saw a lot of drivers, especially early on in this one, really dive bombing turn 1 especially, and probably using the car that they were passing to the outside as kind of the buffer to make sure that they were going to make the corner. Maybe using them a bit as the brakes. If that is the case, though, you have to wonder. I don't think we're going to have green flag pit stops. I'm pretty sure at a short track like this, they can make it 70 laps on what they've got in the fuel tank. But if they can't, then that spells bad news for guys like Alex Tanker and Jacob Thibodeau, because they probably would spend a little bit of extra time on pit road repairing that car. And that extra time you spend on pit road, especially at a short track, is going to mean that you're going to lose track position and a lot of positions in the standings as well. Everything back here is single file. There really is no battle going on at the moment, but they all are lined up nose to tail from 14th on back in pretty close proximity. Carson Gum there. 54 of Cody Lamas. The 11 of Renan Isip. Matt Haas in the 12. 50 of BB Ruiz. There's the 2 of Chase Buck. Scott Upton in the 4. The 20 of Andra Baranaskas. Jordan Lopez back here in the 32. I never actually knew that Go Fast Racing had a, I believe this is the K&N Pro East. Never knew they had a car in K&N Series. There's Nikolai Sykes in the 99, and these were drivers we saw just at the tail end of the field there. 7 of Williams, the 88 of Gonzalez, 21 of Rutz, and the 96 of Hover. Then you get back here to your race leader, Eric Monaco, who would love to be able to capitalize here tonight and already maybe lock up a spot in the playoffs. You also get the bonus point for leading the lap. If he can complete the next 2 laps as the race leader, he'll have locked up the bonus point for leading the most laps. But there's still that question of fuel. Can they make it? I believe this mod runs with the CTS physics, which is the highest physics for fuel consumption. So we'll wait and see. Well, Eric Monaco, you can see he's trying to get to the back bumper of Buck Hover, but he's just not quite able to do it. Those rear tires look like they're really spinning, especially on corner exit in turn 2. Let's watch it again. Watch the back end of the car, how he's just not able to get the grip he needs coming off the corner. There you see right there, you saw the back end kind of step out on corner exit. Matthew Rodriguez right now about maybe a car length and a half back. He's lost touch with the 41, which makes me wonder if maybe he's used up his stuff trying to reel Eric Monaco in, and he's actually starting to fall potentially back into the clutches of Nathan Ormond in the 1. So if these two start racing it up for second place again, that may take a little bit of pressure off of Eric Monaco. But everybody's pretty well spaced out at the moment. It's not really anybody that's any closer than maybe 3/4 of a car length to anybody else. You see, they're just all spaced out almost perfectly here, which says to me that the time to make moves is early on the restarts for sure, when everybody is bunched up. When you get to this point of the race, everybody is focusing on just hitting their marks more than, trying to battle for positions. This is just inside the top 10. Stephen Colon, who was up as high as second place, has now drifted the 9 back to 9th. Behind Brad Cheston's 06, just ahead of Mitchell Collins' 22. Possible battle going on here for the 4th position. Cody Smart was closing to the back bumper of Daniel Bouchard, and Bouchard drives it a little bit deeper than we've seen drivers in the past couple of laps do in turn 1. Trying to reel in Nathan Ormond for 3rd. As Monaco continues to lead the way, he has about maybe 4 car lengths now between himself and Matthew Rodriguez. And right now, the good news, I guess, for him is prior to when he had caught Buck Hover, now the 96 isn't really holding him up. But his lap times have remained awfully consistent. He's been running somewhere in the 19.0s, the low 19.0s, the last 10 laps or so. That time by, he actually ran in the 18s, 18.9, which is the fastest lap he's laid down in the last 15 laps so far. It's about 2/10 off his fastest lap of a 18.766. Ran a 1:18.9 again that time. Matthew Rodriguez is running slower, however. He just ran a 18.970 to Monaco's 9.20. So, even though it's only 5/100ths at a short track, that's actually quite a big margin. Last time by, again, Monaco was faster by 2/100ths. Nathan Ormond is slower than the both of them. Trying to see if anybody back here is running any faster lap times, and no, nobody really is. Right now, Brad Cheston is the 3rd fastest car on track, but he's mired all the way back in 8th, and it probably is because he's got this clean air right now. Big gap between himself and 7th place Jacob Thibodeau. That time by, Matthew Rodriguez, Eric Monaco ran about even, and that time Monaco was faster again by 0.8. So unless Matthew Rodriguez is able to do something here on the long run, Eric Monaco continues to pick up and put down laps. It's all a question of pit road. Do these drivers have to pit before the conclusion of this race? My gut feeling says no, knowing just how much off time of the throttle they're having to be coasting through these corners. Usually at the short tracks, it's not a question of fuel unless you're running a race somewhere in the 100 to 150 lap mark. We're only running 70 here. That time it looked like Buck Hover ran a little wide through 3 and 4. That allowed Monaco to close up the gap a bit between himself and the 96. This is not a battle for position. This is a battle between the race leader and the car currently running last in the field, but currently on the lead lap. Matthew Rodriguez continues to try and reel in the 41, but the word try is maybe not the right word because he's not succeeding at the moment. That time by, he was a little bit faster, gained a 10th. Let's check this lap around. Going to have 18 laps to go here at the line to do something. 18.9 for Monaco. Rodriguez just a tick off, about maybe 100th slower, and he ran that corner off turn 2 awfully wide, which may hurt his lap times even more. See what Monaco runs this time, as he'll hit a 18.972. Rodriguez a 19 flat. So right now, Eric Monaco is doing exactly what he needs to do, and Matthew Rodriguez, even though he's got some pretty clean racetrack in front of him where he could maybe try and attack these corners a little bit more. That might be actually what he's doing, and that's what's costing him position, costing him track time to race leader Eric Monaco. And Monaco's been doing a good job of managing his speed, running behind the 96 of Buck Hover. Consistently runs faster than Matthew Rodriguez. I don't think the draft comes into play in it at all. Yes, he is running behind the 96, but with how short these straightaways are, there's just no way the draft can come into play here. A lot of these drivers, though, there's a lot of drivers in the field. It's great to see a lot of drivers that I've never seen before racing here under the NNSCRA banner. Brad Cheston, one of those drivers, right now in the 8th position. Looking for what would be his first career NNSCRA top 10. As Monaco is closing in on 10 laps to go. It'll be 12 to go this next time by. Again, apologies for the ticker problem. Hopefully we'll have that sorted out by next week. Ran a test for it yesterday. Everything was fine. And according to this, it's saying that it's up, but I don't know what the problem is. Don't know why it's not showing. Mitchell Collins back here in the 10th position, trying to close in on Stephen Colon for that 9th spot. And just behind him, you've got Josh King. This is really the best battling going on right now, maybe the closest battling up inside of the top 10. 9th, 10th, and 11th place. As this time around, it'll be 10 laps to go for Eric Monaco. Matthew Rodriguez still running behind, and right now the lap time's fairly equal. So all Monaco has to continue to do is manage the gap. Ooh, that corner looked a little sketchy. May have run that corner a bit wide, and the lap time shows it, 19.165. Rodriguez closed it up by a 10th, but he's going to have quite a number more mistakes to be able to catch back up to that 41 car, who is now at under 10 laps to go. Mentioned that this race back in Season 1 was a wreckfest, survival of the fittest. And here in Season 3, looks like we may turn these 70 circuits completely clean and green. Which, at a short track, especially a short track like this, where there's absolutely no banking whatsoever, the flat short tracks, and with the aggressiveness we saw early on, is actually pretty amazing. But short tracks, it's all about track position, as I said at the top of the broadcast. Eric Monaco started on the pole, and we've got quite a number of short tracks coming up here in the schedule. We've got Salem, Iowa, Bristol. So there are a number of tracks where it's going to come down to good qualifying to probably translate into a good race run, as it's now 5 to go here at the Daytona short track. If Monaco cannot pass Buck Hover, all of the 27 drivers took the green are actually going to finish on the lead lap, which is another thing that's practically unheard of at a short track. And Matthew Rodriguez is running out of time. Did a good job working his way up to second, but that's where it kind of stalled out for him. Was never really able to reel in Eric Monaco outside of that one point when Monaco began reeling in the tail end of the field. But then after that, I think Rodriguez really just used up too much of his stuff. He's been able to hold off Nathan Orman, but he has not been able to close up the gap between himself and Monaco for this race win. Going to be 2 laps to go this time around for Eric Monaco. Monaco trying to start out the season with a quick trip to victory lane, a quick clinched playoff spot. and just head into the final 9 regular season races, just worrying about remaining up inside the top 20 in the points so that his win counts towards a playoff spot. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go here at Daytona. Eric Monaco has led all 69 laps so far. It looks like he's going to lead the most important one as he'll head through turns 3 and 4. Starts out the 3rd season of the Last of Us Lite series with a victory. Eric Monaco, your winner here tonight at the Daytona Short Track. And of course, I can probably not go all the way back through my memory bank trying to figure out, who won when and where, but to my knowledge, Eric Monaco, I've never mentioned him as a race winner in NNSCRA event, so this, I believe, is his first career win. And what a way to christen the new season here in the Last of Us Lite series. Standings, I believe, are official. We'll take a look at them now as Monaco will head for victory lane. Do not pay attention to 20th on down. Apparently, with the timing of the race ending, those drivers did not cross the line in time to be scored on the lead lap, but all 27 drivers did actually finish on the lead lap of this race. Monaco with the win. Matthew Rodriguez brings it home in 2nd. Nathan Orman 3rd. 4th place, Daniel Bouchard. Cody Smart completes top 5, followed by Alex Tanker, Jacob Thibodeau, Brad Cheston, Stephen Colon, and Mitchell Collins. 16 of Josh King will finish in 11th. 12th is going to be Lamal Cook. 13th, Matt McIntyre. 14th, Carson Gum. 15th, Cody Lamas. And the rest of the top 20 is going to be Renan Isip, Matt Haas. The 50 of BB Ruiz. And then Chase Buck and Scott Upton complete the top 20. And there is the remainder of the finishing results on down through 27th position. These drivers obviously going to look to rebound that didn't have the best of runs here tonight. They're going to look to rebound when we get to next week's race, which we will tell you where that will be in just a moment. We're going to step aside for just a brief commercial break. We're going to come right back and show you the point standings heading into next week. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back here. Obviously, not a great deal of surprise of what the point standings look like. Very similar to the running order here this evening, especially with the fact that Eric Monaco led all 70 laps. So he is the first driver with a win. Locks himself a playoff spot, provided he stays in the top 20 in the point standings. And pretty much all the way on down are where the drivers finished in this season opener. But that does not necessarily mean, however, that these drivers are 100% locked into playoff positions points-wise, because there is the possibility we could end up having ourselves a 10 different winners in these 10 races. So we'll obviously have to wait and see what the future has in store. Speaking of the future, our next race is going to be taking place in the desert, as these drivers will take to the slightly over a mile Phoenix International Raceway. That may not be a race all about track position as opposed to tonight. But thanks everybody for tuning in to this week's broadcast for the Last of Us Lite series. We'll be back again next Friday evening, somewhere between 5 to 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, for race number 2 of Season 3 of the Last of Us Lite series at Phoenix International Raceway. You've been watching another broadcast here on Twitch, this time courtesy of the NNSCRA Sports Channel, Offline Racing at its best. We'll see you guys next week.